Hello people, I am Jaby Koay, joined by ACHARA KIRK.
Hello.
And we're about to watch Game of Thrones Season 8, Episode 5, The Bells. I imagine this is going to be quite an epic episode. Very, very much looking forward to this. So much being built up to this moment.
Yes.
So,
what's going to happen next?
here we go.
Oh no.
You will rule wisely and well, while she
is my queen.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Someone has betrayed me. Jon Snow.
No.
She looks crazy.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
I, Daenerys of House Targaryen, first of my name, breaker of chains and mother of dragons,
Ugh.
sentence you to die.
Wow.
There it is. Oh,
He didn't scream at all.
I know, but that, did you see that look on Jon's
Yeah.
eyes?
The doubt.
He's not sure if she made the right decision.
Yeah.
Liksom tog ni det. Serie Dragonbowl test.
Like he stands it. You think he would win in a fight against Jon? I think Jon would take him out.
I don't know. Grey Worm is a very skilled fighter. He's trained all his life, since childhood, to be the best of the best, so...
I guess it's fair.
You will always be my queen.
Is that all I am to you?
I always feel a little bit weirded out by this, especially now that he knows that she's his auntie, but, I mean...
It's far removed, right?
Yeah.
Ish. Far removed enough-ish.
Your brother was stopped trying to get past our lines.
What happened to him?
It seems he hasn't abandoned your sister after all. The next time you fail me will be the last time you fail me.
You've underestimated her before. She's going to die. Unless you can convince her to change her course of action, difficult to do from here.
Oh... What?
When have I ever been able to convince Cersei of anything? If it works,
This is such a bad
give the
idea.
order to
Yeah.
bring
This
the
is
bells into
such
the
a
landing
bad idea.
and open the gates. If Daenerys can make it to the throne without wading through a river of blood, maybe she'll show mercy to the person who made that possible.
Dude.
Bye, Tyrion.
Dude, you just sealed your fucking fate, dude.
Seems like a fair trade.
Oh, dude.
You were the only one who didn't treat me like a monster.
Do the right thing, Jamie. I don't know what that is, though.
This is the first episode to actually make me feel emotional.
Gosh. Yes. Get it, girl. Take it out. Yes.
It always surprises me when, like, you just saw what she did to all of that, and you're still trying to keep your post to fire.
Well, you know, maybe you can get a lucky shot, you know? Who's coming? What? Oh god. Oh, Grey Worm. Oh. Okay, so far she's not got any innocent people, really, right? It's been very targeted.
Yeah.
So far, so good. Is that the sound of you losing, Cersei?
come on, like,
give up or fight. Do something. Say something, someone. Oh no, what you gonna do? What? Why? You can't. What's going on? That's not fair. None of that.
what are you gonna... There's someone that dude's part.
Yeah.
Find somewhere to hide.
No raping and pillaging, please.
You're no king.
Oh, but I am. And I fucked the queen.
Oh, God. Oh, my God. Oh, God.
Oh, damn. I want him to suffer. That guy's the
I'm
best.
the man who killed Jim and Lannister.
Sandor. Thank you.
Get going. Live. Oh. What's up, bro?
Sir Gregor, I command you.
Obey your queen, Sir Gregor.
Oh, damn. Oh, damn.
Oh, shit!
She's like, well, this isn't my fight.
She's like, okay, bye. They've got beef. They've got beef going back decades. Let them handle it. Christ. I don't think this is gonna end well.
He hasn't even pulled out his sword yet.
Yeah. Oh my God. Oh, yucky.
Y'all better bounce if you're trying
Yeah.
to live. Shit.
Like, I get it, but
See the rocks all coming down around you. Might be under it.
okay. I get it. You're happy. Let's go. If you're going, or like, let's die. Just make a choice. Can we kill him though? Because isn't he like basically a zombie? Yeah. You gotta chop off his head, dude.
Oh shit.
Come on. That's not how you go, Arya. You don't get trampled to death.
Oh man, did she get taken out?
I don't know. Yeah! Eyeball! In the eyeball! I'm telling you, the eyeball! The eye! Oh no! No, no! No, no! No! No!
I do not want to see that.
I told you, the head! I told you!
No.
Oh. I bet he can't see her. Oh no! He's some next level zombie. Man. Oh my gosh. Is that it? There's a little hole at the top.
Look at me.
Not like this. Not like this. Not like this.
Look me in the eye. A little way. Don't look. Look at me. Just look at me. Nothing else matters. Only us.
I think they made it. I'm just kidding. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh man.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, that was quite an episode.
Yeah. That was really, really tense the whole time. I was just feeling like I couldn't breathe throughout because the tension was just so high, and there were some really great scenes that happened.
I think that was the only episode that actually moved me to tears.
Yeah.
There was no other Game of Thrones episode that ever got me like on that emotional level. I mean, other episodes have gotten me like excited and gotten me feeling pumped or feeling. I've had feelings obviously for different episodes, but no other episode has ever moved me to tears.
Right. No, I think there have been other episodes where I have been emotional, and I didn't cry this time, but I was definitely very close. And that scene between Jaime and Tyrion, the one that got you, I mean, that was rather beautiful. And I feel like Tyrion's character has really come around because, like he said, he's not a great person, you know, like from the first season and the following seasons, like he's been someone who's kind of like just done whatever it takes to survive. I mean, he has his own moral code, but
I feel like he's been the most moral character out of everybody. Him and Jon Snow have been the most moral characters throughout the whole show. Like if you compare them to those two to everybody else who's like has some kind of power, he's the only him and Jon Snow are the only ones who have,
right, but he's not completely clean. Do you know what I mean?
who is in this show other than Jon Snow?
Exactly.
I mean, really nobody else.
Jon Snow is the noblest character,
Yeah.
but Tyrion is willing to commit treason in order to do what he thinks is right, which is commendable.
Yeah.
I think. But the thing that was really moving about that scene between him and Jaime was like just their relationship as brothers, you know, because since the time he was born, Tyrion had to face a lot of adversity. His father blamed him for his mother's death.
Yeah.
So his sister hated him, and everyone looked down on him, and Jaime was the only person who respected him and treated him as a person, not
Right.
as, you know, the imp, the dwarf, someone to be hated, to be despised.
Right.
And so that was a rather beautiful, moving moment between the two of them.
I thought the way he acted through the entire first 20 minutes of the show was just powerful.
Yeah.
I mean, the way he was facing the queen, Daenerys, and
Yeah.
like trying to convey these ideas, knowing the hot plate he's basically standing on. Like, basically everything is thin ice for him. Whatever he does, whatever move he makes, the consequences happening around him, he's being blamed. Like Jaime running off, for instance.
Yeah.
You know, like it's on his shoulders, and he knows what he's dealing with, and he knows what he's trying to orchestrate in order for the betterment of most people, all his innocent lives. Like, there's so much weight on his shoulders, and I can feel it through each delivery, through each line that he's delivering.
Yeah.
And even that moment, like you mentioned, when he's in the tent with his brother, I felt it. Like, everything he was expressing felt very genuine and moved me. Like, even talking about him, like, gosh, oh, goodness me, that was like... I mean, he really, he was my emotional hook for this episode.
He is such a great character as well. And he is arguably the most intelligent person in the Seven Kingdoms. And Daenerys is not taking his advice. She's being completely hot-headed and just doing what she thinks is right, but having a very kind of narrow vision about that and not kind of looking at the big picture. But how did you feel about Varys's execution? Do you think he deserved it? Or like what would have been a better outcome?
I don't think there could have been any other outcome there. I mean, when Tyrion went to the Queen, he sentenced him to death. Like,
pretty much.
There was just no getting around that, and I was conflicted about that. Like, why would Tyrion do that? And it's because he's trying to maintain his loyalty to the Queen.
Exactly.
I get all that. I'm like, I'm still confused about his... I understand it. But the what moved me there was when Tyrion grabbed his arm. He's like, it's almost like, I had to do this, but I still love you.
Yeah.
Kind of attitude, you know?
Definitely, because they both want what's best for the kingdom. It's just that they, at that point in time, they had divergent ideas of what was the best thing to do. Although Varys has had his moments in the storyline where he's been kind of a slimy character, maybe that you're like, I don't know about this guy, but I think ultimately, now that I see his story arc come to an end, I'm like, okay, I get it. You've always wanted what's best for the kingdom, and you haven't cared about how you made that happen. You know, everything's is like, it's all a means to an end.
Right.
And he's not afraid to get his hands dirty.
Jon Snow saw something was off when he got executed.
Yeah.
I mean, he had that look in his eyes, and he just knew something's not right.
Yeah.
And he proceeded forward anyway, and then it all happened in front of him. It happened in front of Arya. I wanted to ask you, because I said Jon Snow and Tyrion were the most, for me, they're the most honorable characters through the show. Mm-hmm. What about Arya?
Arya also has her own moral code, you know?
Yeah, everything for her has been with a specific purpose in mind.
Yes.
And it's like anyone who's crossed her, that's who she's taking out.
Exactly.
So she mended her friendship with the Hound, even though she was supposed to take him out.
She used to hate him, and so it's come around full circle. So I think she's, you know, she's grown up as well, but she is someone who's very determined, very single-minded. Like, you saw that in the episode when she was all discombobulated from, like, the explosions and the fighting and all the violence going on. But as soon as she hooked on to the mother and the daughter and the innocent women and children who needed help, she was suddenly, like, invigorated again because she had a mission, she had a goal. She's someone who's really goal-oriented. Throughout the whole series, the list of people that she wants to murder has been her goal, and then, like, yeah, she wants to kill Cersei, but she's not going to get that chance this time.
I'm reluctant. I'm somewhat reluctant to say what I'm about to say, just because I'm wondering if I'm the only person who's feeling this and thinking this. But as I was watching the episode and Daenerys was just taking out the city, it was giving me flashbacks of September 11th. Like,
wow, yeah.
The ash coming down and, like, people just running and freaking out as buildings are falling. Like, I mean, I suppose that's how any war-ridden city is going to look, right? It's going to look like chaos. And you're going to see burning bodies and stuff. Like, it just looked horrific. The show deliberately didn't show you Daenerys' face while she was roasting the city. While she was completely burning it down. It's like they showed you her face once at the beginning, right before she went on her assault. Yeah. And I was like, I wonder why they made her aloof for some reason.
Yeah, and they really focused on Cersei, because the whole time I was like, you know, Cersei is a character that we all love to hate, but when it comes down to it, I can see why she does what she does, you know. I can empathize. And especially, I mean, I'm not saying that I empathize with like how diabolical, but in that moment between her and Jaime, it really moved me because I'm like, she's just a woman. She loves who she loves, and she's just trying to protect her child. Now, is it right what she's doing? No. But in that moment, the way they set it up, I was like, wow, I'm really moved, and I almost don't want to be because, you know,
well, that's
she's
the whole
awful.
That's the whole point of the show, though. I mean, not the whole point, but like that's what it does to you. They did that to you back when they had her walk naked through the city.
Yeah,
I mean,
you felt for her
right.
that time.
But see, because of that, I'm like, you're not gonna get me this time, show. Like I understand her vulnerability and I buy it. I believe her, but I don't feel anything for them, particularly for her. I just felt nothing for her. I'm like, I'm glad you're going. I wish that it didn't have to be in the throes of like all of these people dying, but I'm glad you're gone because you are such an evil bitch. You know, like sure you want to protect your kid, but like you're.
Yeah, you can't like put the lives of a million innocent people.
Yeah.
Like if you really wanted to protect your kid, you would abdicate the throne. You'd give it up, and you'd be like, okay, please don't kill me and my kid. Just let us live in peace on a little island far, far away, and we'll never bother you again. She's not going to do that though.
Yeah.
So she sealed her fate.
I don't understand why Daenerys took out all those people. Like,
see, I think it's because in that moment when she was speaking to Jon, because she said, no one has any love for me here, and she was really hurt about it. And then she was like, fear then. Fear it is. And I think at that moment when she decided that, well, if people weren't going to love her, they were going to fear her, she made that choice.
That was like, that's like a third, fourth Hiroshima A-bomb. The way she was going about it, though, like it was too much.
It really was. Like they gave up. They gave up. If anything, I get it. Okay, you're really mad and you hate these people who have basically destroyed your family and not have no love for you at all, and made your life miserable. But like, you want your subjects to love you. It's much better if your subjects love you rather than hate you, because look what happened to Cersei. Her own army, her own Lannister army, who she was convinced would stand up and fight for her because she was the Lannister queen, laid down their arms because they didn't believe in her.
Right.
I thought, obviously, they're not going to do that because there's less drama, but she should have just made a beeline for the Red Keep and just burn down the keep.
I mean, now this gives you somewhere to go for the last episode, to suspend the drama for at least, a little bit longer. It made her vile. It's like, and you could see it coming too. It's like you knew she was turning into the Mad Queen. She was losing her mind, like, slowly and surely, but like, I don't know how much I buy that she would just kill so many innocent people, like,
because that's totally not been her MO this whole time.
Right.
Like, this whole time she's been the breaker of chains, she's been the liberator, she's been the one who's like, I don't have blood children of my own, I'm the mother of dragons, but you all can be my children, and then now she's turned around and she's like, oh, let's just murder a bunch of innocent people, because that seems like a good idea.
It seemed like her and Grey Worm wanted payback for Missandei's death. It struck such a deep chord with her that she's like, she just was bloodthirsty after that. But to me, it doesn't make sense to not make a beeline straight for the castle and just take out the castle. I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like, well, they had to do something in order to pit Jon and Daenerys against each other to have somewhere to go for the next episode. But it's like, it feels just a tiny bit convenient that she would kill all those people, just massacre everybody. It certainly pits everyone against her now. That is not the Unsullied. The Dothraki are also with her, of course. It seems like there's going to be another battle, and it's going to be her against Jon.
Do you think it's going to culminate in a huge battle, or is it going to just be a small-scale thing where he's like, I love you, honey?
It's going to be big. There's no way that they're gonna...
Jon's not really the sneaky type, is he?
No. I predicted that Jaime was gonna take out Cersei, and I was wrong about that. He certainly met his objective as a character. Like, he wanted to get back to her. He made it back to her.
Yeah.
They died together.
Well, you think they died together.
They died. They died. They got crushed under the rubble. There's no way they survived that. There's no magic protecting them.
Right.
They're gone. I didn't necessarily want Jaime to go. I felt like he did redeem himself over the course of the show.
Yeah.
Even though he did some crazy bad stuff, right, like episode 1, but I feel like he did redeem himself. He made himself, you know, a more honorable character over the course of the show, but like Cersei never did. She never redeemed herself. So I was conflicted about his desire to go back and protect her and save her or be with her, whatever the case may be, because me as an audience, I'm like, I have no positive feelings for her. So it just makes me mad at Jaime for going back to her. But he got his he met his objective though.
He was there with her.
Yeah.
In the end, so I guess that's what counts. Like when I think back to my favorite moments of Cersei, the moments that really moved me, I think it was always about her and her children. Like when she found out that her daughter died, and like just that really moved me because I can really relate to a mother's love. And it's funny that this episode aired on Mother's Day as well, but like I said before, I do understand it. Are her methods of achieving the safety of her children okay? No, she's a crazy bitch.
Yeah, when you said that, it just reminded me of when one of her children died and then Jaime decided to fuck her.
Ugh.
Right next to their dead child.
Yeah, that was messed up.
That was really gnarly nasty.
Yeah, super gnarly. They're screwed up.
Right.
The two of them. Oh, what about the brothers finally getting to face off against each other? You've got the Hound and the Mountain. That was pretty satisfying, but it was also just terrifying how formidable the Mountain is. I mean, he always has been, even in life. And I suppose as a reanimated corpse or whatever the hell he is, he's now even more powerful.
Do you think he really died?
I don't know. I don't think... Maybe the fire could kill him. And it's poetic justice as well, isn't it? Because he was the one that put Sandor Clegane's face on the coals,
right.
which scarred him.
Right.
So it was his brother that did that. And so it's kind of poetic justice that he gets to hopefully die in flames.
Right.
You know?
I mean, he was driven into the flames.
Yeah.
By the Hound.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. I didn't even think about that. That was a pretty brutal battle. I mean, this show certainly, it was no holds barred. You know,
this episode particularly,
I
mean,
that's what I mean.
Holy
This
crap.
episode, that's what I'm saying.
How much blood was just spurting everywhere, and just the sheer level of violence was really intense this time.
That's what I meant. Was this particular episode was just like they took out a lot of people.
Yeah.
So
I mean, because we thought that a whole lot more people were gonna go in episode 3, and they're like, no, we're saving that for later.
Right.
You're gonna see a lot more people are gonna die, and yeah, that was really intense. I feel like this episode was way more intense than episode 3 with the Night King, for me at least.
Yeah. No. I mean, this is a technical thing, but I like the way that this episode was shot in general. Like, there were some really beautiful moments. The first ones that come to mind are towards the end of the episode when Arya comes to and she sees the horse.
Yeah.
And the way the camera's looking up at her and you see the ash coming down. Like, all of that stuff was shot really, really beautifully. I'm glad I could see everything.
Yeah, that's...
I'm glad it wasn't in the dark.
Yeah.
I just thought, in general, this was shot really well. And I certainly felt the ugliness of the battle.
Yeah.
I mean, it was horrific to look at sometimes. It didn't feel like it was being violent for the sake of being violent. It felt like it was honestly portraying what was happening. Like, you know, all this stuff is going down, and it's horrific to be there in that battlefield, and it's like, it's honestly portraying it, going, this is how messed up it looks, you know?
Yeah, because I think back in medieval times, if you were fighting at close quarters, hacking away at each other with swords and stuff, yeah, it's gonna look that nasty. It's gonna look that gnarly.
I guess what I'm trying to say is I've had moments in Game of Thrones where I felt like it was being gratuitous, and this is an episode that was extremely violent where I didn't feel like I didn't get that feeling that it was being gratuitous. I felt like it was just being honest. I wish they found a way to really justify the Queen going that crazy. Like, her killing all those people is still kind of rubbing me the wrong way, but like, because the thing is, through the show, you're rooting for her.
Yeah, and now to suddenly turn around and try and manipulate us
at the 11th hour.
Yeah, to being like, no, do you know what? Daenerys is a bad queen now. She's the Mad Queen, and you know, probably the best thing to do is to take her out. It feels kind of weird, because
Yeah.
that hasn't been her storyline at all. Like, I remember starting, before season 8 started, I'm like, yeah, you know, Daenerys, she's always been one of my favorite characters. She's always been very good, if not impulsive and a little bit hot-headed, but that's fine. We love her. And then all of a sudden she's like just taking out innocent women and children and men and whatever, you know, just they didn't deserve that. They gave up.
It's her Ryan Phillippe moment from Crash.
Oh.
Yeah. If y'all have seen Crash, then you know what I'm talking about. It's like that's a film where it kind of does the same thing that Game of Thrones does to you, where it sets you up where you're thinking these characters are the ones that are good, these are the ones that are bad, and then these things happen, you're like, oh wow, I didn't expect it to go that way, you know, and characters do certain things that are morally questionable.
Right.
So this was the most epic example of that. Whether or not you are on board with what Daenerys did, this was certainly shocking.
Yeah.
Like, and not for the sake of being shocking, it was just shocking, like, how everything unfolded and who made it out and who didn't make it out and how people were taken out, like all of that. It was very surprising over and over and over again.
Yeah.
I was surprised at everything that was happening.
Like Euron taking out Jaime, I wasn't expecting that. Like when he stabbed Jaime, I was like, holy, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I kind of forgotten about him. I thought that he died on the sea, and then there he is, like a nasty little parasite coming back up. And
Well, you didn't see him actually get taken out. Was
Well,
the
yeah.
thing. But I was happy that fight happened. It was a bit coincidental. Like, I was a bit convenient that those two people just happened to be
Yeah.
at the same spot. But I was forgiving it because I was happy that fight went down. Because
Yeah.
I could understand, even though I didn't agree with Jaime going back to Cersei, I could understand like his motivation or what was driving him.
Mm-hmm.
And so because of what was his driving force, it made sense that fight would happen between them because they both want the same woman.
well, yeah, and he's just rubbing it in his face. He's all like, oh yeah, I slept with your sister, who's also your lady.
Right.
Ha! You
Yeah.
know, like, ew.
I was glad he got taken out. I was glad he stabbed him and left him to die rather than chopping his head off.
I don't know.
So he could suffer slowly.
I am a big believer in just ending it. Make sure your enemies cannot get back up.
He wasn't getting back up.
Seal the deal.
That dude's done. How much fire does the dragon have? It's just like an
It's
infinite
limitless.
amount of fire. I don't know. It's just magic. So what do you?
Yeah.
You know, whatever. Sometimes I wonder how much web a spider can spit out. You know.
I don't know. That question has never crossed my mind. I'm just like, oh, it's a dragon. It spits fire a lot. There we go. The end. Done.
It's just infinite.
Yeah.
You know.
Magical.
But they certainly made you fear Daenerys and her dragon by the end of the episode.
That was so cool when she was about to execute Varys, and then out of the blackness, Drogon just appeared. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
That was scary and awesome. And they've done such a good job with the CGI for the dragons, especially this season.
Especially
like, they look
this
so good.
Especially this episode, I would say. The dragon looked the best in this particular episode. And I think part of the reason was because they were only
There's
dealing
only
with
one.
one.
Yeah.
It's like they've narrowed it down.
Yeah. They're
So-
like, the CGI was getting too expensive. We have to kill 2 of them.
There were some green screen moments in the show where I'm like, that
Yeah.
looks like green screen.
Yeah,
But I was
definitely.
like, it's fine.
Yeah.
Overall, this was probably my favorite episode from this season.
Yes.
And I'm really concerned about what's going to happen with Tyrion.
I'm surprised that like news of Jaime escaping didn't reach Daenerys sooner, or if it did, maybe she didn't have time to deal with it because they were about to go into battle. But now she might have to, and I mean, I don't know. If you're a Tyrion, would you stay and face the wrath of your queen, or
He would.
would you go?
He's not going to run.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think he would run. I think he would
He's
stay.
run before.
I don't think he would run this time. He's at that point where he's basically at his end.
Right.
For himself personally, I think he's just...
He's just gonna stand there and be like,
Anyways, you guys, hopefully you enjoyed our reaction and some of our commentary. Do let us know your thoughts on the episode and your thoughts on our thoughts in the comments below. Please do subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit the bell icon so you get notified every time we drop another video. Check out our other reactions, reviews, and short films and vlogs. I am Jaby Koay. This is
ACHARA.
Peace out.